everyone, welcome back. Laure here, and I'm standing with Sheepy. Unfortunately, UOL is out of playoffs. I'm sorry about that. Well, you turned it around in the end, even though it wasn't enough. Talk me through your new game plan and your team plan for this year.
I think with the team that we have right now, we laid a very good start for the year overall. And I think that everybody trained really hard. So even though I'm sad, of course, that we didn't go to playoffs, because I really think the guys deserve it. They are such nice people, like generally nice people and good character, and have been working hard. But yeah, I think, you know, it sucks on the one hand, but I think also from being 1-8 and then being able to turn it around just shows that they have really strong mentality, and I think on the long run that should be a really big strength. Yeah,
they seem to have clicked in between players. What went wrong on stage?
It's really hard to say. I think that we're still in the process of learning. A lot of times we just go after the game and everyone's down, and then we're like, okay, what exactly happens? And then everybody starts like bubbling up and talking about what we could learn. And I think that's the right idea. So we are not frustrated. I mean, we're not frustrated because we can't do anything about it, but we always go in with a positive mindset and learn a lot. So I think right now we're just still learning in the process of it. We're not the best team yet, and even though our losses were like close and wins as well, I think, you know, over time it will show that we are becoming better. Yeah,
well, and you're on the right track for summer. What will you guys work on for the time you have to be the top team you used to be last year?
I mean, I see a lot of potential in the team. I think that Totoro learned a lot of English and he has like really good micro. I think Kold really learned a lot about how to structure the map overall. I think Exileh had like really big input with his mind, and he's very, very smart about the game. Samux has become more and more consistent. I think WhiteKnight stepped up a lot as a rookie starting out, even though he played before, you know, but he really, you know, everybody evolved really a lot. So I think if we just keep up the process right now, and people saw how we turned from a 1-8 team to like a 6-8 team with 5 wins in a row, I think that, you know, we're on the right track and we should just not give up, give our all, and I think then we are ready for summer to be one of the best teams.
Well, thank you very much for your words today, Sheepy, and really looking forward to more in the summer. And for the moment, we're gonna send it back to Deficio and Drakos at the caster desk.
I like it, Deficio. Despite bittersweet news, Sheepy still smile on his face.
Always positive.
Talks about the guys, good guys on the team.
Could have been really angry and destroying things backstage, but he didn't. He kept it cool.
We missed that part. I bet there was a moment where he's like throwing stuff.
Pure wrestling moment.
He throws that over there.
I seem very angry on stage as well.
Yeah, he's clearly very focused on the game ahead of him. Of course, this is a game that initially at the start of the day could have been a game that meant everything for both of these teams, but the stakes are off now. Now you can talk about that pressure being gone to a certain degree, but at the same time, I feel like there is some pride on the line. I feel like you want to end your split on a win. You want to show, hey guys, it's still a project that is improving. We are getting better for summer.
Yep.
Put some confidence in those fans.
Also, you've just been sitting there watching the last game, basically in the mindset of this game will matter. So the moment you say HK win, it's not like you randomly say, okay, let's just troll, nothing matters anymore. Like, they're still going to be fairly focused despite not playing for anything.
And in terms of execution, I still want to see what this team is going to bring to the table. Unicorns of Love, of course, are going to be playing this game on the blue side. I think whenever they step on the stage, I always have my eyes set on Kold, seeing how he can impact the rest of the map. But in a game like this, I just wonder what they're going to bring.
It's always hard to predict. In the lobby at the moment, certain champion names are being thrown around. Heimerdinger already being mentioned. Then there's a bunch of Danes talking about how tragic it is that they're not
really
playing for playoffs.
You're here to translate for me, because
so they're basically saying, oh, really sad that we don't play for anything. Oh, really sad that Drakos is casting our game. Don't really like him.
That's good.
That's basically what they're saying in Danish.
Yeah, I mean, I have to believe you, I guess.
There you go. We spell your name differently in Danish.
Okay. On the other side, it is going to be Misfits Gaming. Maybe they're excited I'm casting their game, Deficio, but I want to see what they can do as well. Jungle, I think it's just the most interesting role in this matchup. Maxlore has been kind of the early game king. See if he can keep his composure going into this kind of game.
Early game king, definitely not the king of the mid to late game, which kind of been the case for Misfits. And what a crazy story again from Worlds. So much hype around Misfits. They make some changes. They talk about them as upgrades, and then they sit down here outside of the top 6 in the Spring Split. They do have the full year if they want to make it back to Worlds, of course. The 1-year plan can be enabled again. For Misfits, though, and Unicorns of Love, we got to see what they draft. So far, we're starting out very serious and standard.
Yeah, Olaf taken away, Galio, Sion, all very standard bans. Nothing too crazy yet. I want to see if they had anything special planned for today that they still want to bring out. You know, it was this last dance regardless of the circumstance of the game, so maybe they had something special up their sleeve that they're going to show us. For now, though, you're right, Deficio. It's standard. It's simple. Take away the champions you hate. Caitlyn, obviously one of them. Traps are pretty obnoxious.
Among other things regarding Caitlyn, a good ban at the moment. Is Rakan available? One of my favorite combos on stage. Of course, the Soraka is also here. Why do you not ban Soraka? Like, what are they doing? I mean,
ooh. See, Yorick also available. Now,
if they locked in Yorick, I got a lot of stuff to talk about.
I would never think that people locking in random things would be good in general, because I thought you might not be prepared. But Yorick and Garen, I think, are two that you're very ready for. Xayah, of course, much more standard, so I trust in your preparation for that one as well.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Xayah, sadly. Maokai on the other side, been hurt for Misfits, but of course they know it's going to be Xayah Rakan, or most likely on the other side. What will they get in return for this trade? Because normally you see like a Sion Sejuani being locked in here, and they kind of trade that. Not in this case. Okay,
ooh,
all right. Kalista. That was nerfed really hard.
Yeah, so I've talked to a couple pro players about this champion. Basically, huge nerf up until level 7, and then it's basically the same champion, except the area where Kalista used to shine a lot was in those early levels.
Well, it's kind of get ahead early, secure early objectives, and then snowball the game. Now, I also talked to a bunch of pros. I wanted to set it up dramatically by being like, whoa, they got nerfed really hard. Why would you play it? But I actually do have a few things prepared for why you would play it. And the main thing is, it works really well against Xayah Rakan because Kalista is very mobile and Rakan struggles to kind of lock her down. So it is actually a direct answer to a Xayah Rakan lane over on the side of Unicorns of Love. And let's see if it works. It is a classic 2018 Misfits. Pick a composition where you want to snowball a little bit and then fail to snowball. We'll see if that part happens.
I mean, they have good snowballing picks, though, Deficio. You're right. One part of your prediction is correct. They like to snowball. They got a Kha'Zix who snowballs really well. They have Kalista who snowballs really well. I want to see how good the Kalista is going to be, because you talk about it being an answer to Xayah Rakan, but I feel like if that goes wrong at any point, we've seen what happens when a Xayah Rakan just goes off.
I definitely think the Xayah Rakan are way easier to execute on stage compared to the Kalista on the other side. I want to see Misfits do want to play around the bottom lane early, if they just leave Kalista on her own to farm and then they go play on top side, which is kind of what we've seen from them the last few games where they put Alphari on a carry.
And interesting things to keep in mind, Zac still open, Camille was available until Unicorns of Love banned it away.
And the Swain is still open as well.
There you go.
I believe that's the German translation for Swain. The Swain?
No. No, it's definitely not. Limited knowledge.
They sound the same.
I mean, very similar for sure, except one means pig and one is a champion in League of Legends, so close.
Swain Swine.
Pig champ.
Pig champ.
New class of
Not
top lane
champ.
champions. He's a pig champ. We'll get all 12 Zodiac animals up there soon. Chinese Zodiac. I don't even know if that's a Chinese Zodiac animal. All right.
Talking to the wrong guy here.
You're supposed to back me up. I need you to have more knowledge than just League of Legends here. More life experience, Deficio.
Nope.
So top lane is clearly the focus, Deficio. We have 3 top lane bans. I wonder if we're going to see a 4th here. Zac, still open, but not necessary to ban, because I was mentioned earlier, because Kha'Zix is already blocked.
So Cho'Gath, Gnar, Swain are some of the main ones to look at. I think you can blind pick Swain here if you're Alphari, if you really want to get it and play top side. You got already physical damage from your jungler, so it would make a lot of sense to get an AP top laner. Do they want to save last pick for Alphari and they just grab a mid laner? Nope.
Hey.
It is the Swain.
All right. Now, I've heard rumor that this can be a flex pick, but it has mostly been put top.
See, whenever I kind of thought about that, I was like, yeah, no. His matchups in mid are not great. I'm sure someone will try it, but he's mainly a top laner.
Okay.
Mainly.
There's a chance. You say to cover your butt just in case it is played mid lane. I respect it. Well, Gnar is going to be the option here for WhiteKnight. Has been a champion that received a decent amount of nerfs as he was so dominant previously. Want to see how he's going to do against Swain, who's been kind of tearing up the solo queue ladder in terms of top lane picks.
Yeah, the good buffs here for Swain, reducing that cooldown on Q especially. He just kind of spams that out in the late game 24/7. Let's see what else we get mid. This looks to be the Cassiopeia lock-in for Exileh. It's actually a champion that everyone in Europe agrees it's strong. Yeah, we don't see her played very often on our stage, either because she's banned or just not touched at all in the pick and ban phase.
It's really interesting because so many people played her last year as an answer to kind of when Galio was really popular.
Oh, yes, Cooks. That's it.
All right, Aurelion Sol, we wanted to see it. You talk about utility mid laners every time Sencux sets foot on stage. Deficio, go.
But why do we have to wait until the very last game they play on stage for him to pick Aurelion Sol again? He's so good at playing this champion. He's so good at pushing and roaming. That's kind of the main strength he always used to bring back on the old Splice lineup. It's what we want to see in this Misfits lineup, and especially now when you have Swain top lane you can try and play around. They also got Kalista bot lane, so I think it makes a lot of sense in terms of side lanes to set up for snowballing. Kha'Zix, of course, will follow. I just want to see if this Kalista pick can actually do anything, because it should be a good defensive choice against Xayah Rakan due to the mobility, but it's not an easy thing to execute.
And I like that we're seeing it here because it will kind of show us what to expect from this pick heading into playoffs, heading into quarterfinals. The semifinals, Misfits obviously not afraid to show their hand because they're no longer going to be in attendance. And while it's bittersweet, they have put together a rather interesting composition for us. You've got the Swain, you've got the Aurelion Sol. And as we look at both sides, I'm wondering, are Misfits drafting into that same thing that we've seen so consistently for them in the last few weeks, where it's, we're playing on a timer. We win in 25 minutes or we lose, and that's how it goes?
Maybe. It's likely. It's happened so often this split. I do feel they're just okay scaling on the side. Like Aurelion Sol with the new item builds late game is actually really good. Not the easy instant, kill everything wombo combo champion, but if you have long team fights with Swain, low cooldown on his Q and his ulti popping there, then you have Aurelion Sol and Kalista. Like, long fights can really benefit Misfits.
And I want to see it, man. I want to see more Swain fights. We've seen so much Swain recently, and it's a pick that I kind of love to see. The passive is so interesting to watch, to see how teams use it. Vision of Empire as well, the long range ability to kind of disrupt.
Use that to check Baron.
Hey, it's pretty good.
Actually, the thing about him that a lot of, AD carries talk about is when you play against Swain, it's kind of weird with his abilities, and you roughly know what to dodge, but not 100% how much damage each will deal. All the AD carries just know, if he fires his E towards you and he hits it, you're probably going to die.
Probably,
because then he will pull you back, he will smack you in the face with his Q, pop his ult, and you can't really get away from him.
The good news is there's this giant circle around him when his ult, so he knows, hey, if I set foot in this area, I die. So
yes,
stay away.
That is true. There's a big warning sign.
Downside is if you are a short-range champion like maybe a Xayah or a Cassiopeia, you might have to be in that range to hit Swain.
It is true. Now, there is no one in this game who will put up a giant wall in front of him, like we saw in the last game, where Smitty J suddenly found
which would help Sion players if there were any in this game.
Very true. In this case, it will be a game where Alphari should be able to get into the back line, and will then have to tank up a ton of damage, trying to heal it all back against both Cassiopeia and Xayah. So there's a lot of damage on both sides, which should make for a very fun game. And when there's Aurelion Sol, there's always action. Because either you gank him and kill him so he doesn't do anything,
or he ganks you.
Or he ganks you, and then he will force plays.
And Deficio, we've talked a lot about what Misfits are looking to do, but let's take a look at the Unicorns of Love side. Kold on a Sejuani, this is a champion that can gank, can play a little bit back. What are we kind of expecting to see here in terms of early pressure from Kold, as he has been incredibly pivotal for this team?
I think around mid lane is where you can really play, where they can have a stronger 2v2 on the side of Unicorns of Love, because they have the Cassiopeia, which is such a strong pick, especially also just in general when it comes to singling down one target. Aurelion Sol is going to be a lot more about get level 6 if you want to fight around Cassio, or just roam to the side lanes early on. But lane Samux, that was a very early flash.
Good level 2 play coming in from Misfits. See that they get it first, go in immediately to try to punish, stop the Xayah Rakan from getting their own level 2 all-in.
I always tell myself that surprise people by getting early level 2 only worked in solo queue because people are not communicating or ready for it. It actually just worked on stage. Like, you always know when the enemy are about to hit level 2.
I feel like it works a lot on stage. It's just, you have to choose. Do you want to go up and get CS and get money and, have the ability to buy items, or do you want to just walk away from that lane and, respect the potential?
But it's going to push towards you if they're getting early level 2. So you can just kind of go back and wait on the turret bot. Whatever, flash go on from Samux. As long as he doesn't get punished after, who cares?
And now they do get to sit under tower, as you mentioned. Flash burn's a pretty big deal, especially if Sencux does want to roam down to that side.
Ooh.
It's good damage here onto Exileh. Exileh not feeling quite as comfortable. Procs the phase rush. Let him weave in and out there from the stars, but Sencux doing very well in the early laning phase.
He materialize on the Aurelion Sol as well. Of course, just getting even more minion push in the early game. Let's see if he actually wants to do something before level 6. He could just wait for it, and I think top lane to me is the easiest gank he can go for. Gnar is not going to be tanky early game. They have a ton of damage combined with Aurelion Sol, Kha'Zix, and Swain. It's almost impossible to survive if you're the Unicorns of Love. Of course, it requires Sencux to get out of lane when Alphari has a wave about to crash to the turret of WhiteKnight. Bot lane, while there's no stopwatch, is also an option. I just think top lane is the easier kill.
Yeah, we can see Samux without a flash. Maybe makes it easier for Maxlore to try to force a gank in that lane.
That's true, yeah,
good point. Heading to the bot lane. Try to follow up, try to snowball this early lane. You said you wanted to see the Kalista be, effective. Well, maybe not quite as lane dominant as she once was, so give her a little bit of support.
Yeah, that's why if you do play around her, that's super good. This ward here by Unicorns of Love will help them spot potentially if Kha'Zix walks into the lane after the wave has been pushed and hides in the side lane brush.
Now Sencux is headed to the bottom lane. They're going to have 4 members here. Unicorns of Love have 1 member ready. They are going to look for the ult, trying to get it started. Totoro now in trouble. 2 stacks looking for the 4th. Is going to come in. They find the stun. The chain CC comes in. Nice follow-up coming in. First blood on the Ren. Misfits making it work.
Kold the Drakos said no flash on that Xayah. Why not go bot lane for the free kill? And Sencux did exactly that. So, I guess getting surprised level 2 and losing your flash hurt you quite a lot.
And this is kind of the Misfits early game we've come to expect. When they are playing confidently, they are able to consistently find these early advantages. And with a champion like Kalista, seems like one where you have to get the early game advantages.
And they just got it right there. Top lane.
WhiteKnight tries to go for the all-in. Alphari wants to wait as the root does come back to be able to rip the soul fragment, get a little bit of health back. Very, very strong.
Obviously needs his level 6 before he wants to take the full-on all-in when WhiteKnight does jump in on him with the Swain here. So bot lane, simple play. No flash on the AD carry. Mikyx and Hansama can go all in. And the Aurelion Sol roaming down in the early game, and this is exactly why Sencux picked its champion and why we want to see him on picks like Aurelion Sol, because he can be proactive.
And the interesting thing about this pick is that unlike the Galio where you're waiting for level 6, or the Talia where you might be waiting for level 6 as well, you just get to roam so early. He gets to just push lane at like level 3 and go anywhere he wants to go. Maybe a little bit more difficult now that Cassio has the tier. She can start to match some of this lane pressure, but overall, just feels like a good fit for how Misfits like to play the game.
And even if she can match the push for you, you can still get there first if a fight is about to happen. And you might have to sack a wave in the mid lane for Sencux, but that means your bot lane gets an early turret and your Kalista gets another kill. That investment is worth it. Of course, Exileh is going to be strong on his own. You're probably not going to stop that. But then, as long as you get Kalista and Swain ahead, you win out.
It's true, and I think when we look at Exileh, the itemization changes coming in do feel like they make Cassio especially strong. Archangel's just the actual perfect item for her.
It's just the whole mana stacking thing that's just so powerful.
Well, that Fox, we do have another play breaking out. Mikyx going to try to find his way out safe, but the stun does manage to connect immediately. Hansama's in trouble and taken out. Unicorns of Love find a quick pickoff.
Oh, Hansama got a little bit baited there by his support who wanted to kill that ward in the tribe rush. The enemy jungler was around. Free kill over to the Unicorns of Love.
Well played, punishing Misfits for kind of overstepping there. Not really respecting the Sejuani level 6 coming in. Maxlore still level 5. Maybe didn't expect Kold to be level 6 that quickly.
Feels like they were just expecting Kold to be on the other side of the map, because otherwise, like walking in like this to kill a ward without any backup is too risky. If you think there's a chance the enemy jungler is there, Kold surprises them. They get a kill on the side of Unicorns of Love. Samux flash is back ready. He will get level 6 very soon to try and save himself in case Aurelion Sol comes down. So now we might get that swap to top side on Misfits, where they want to play. Now it's against the Gnar instead, where there is, just a 1v1 most of the time.
Yeah. For now, the laning phase just continues to be a little bit Alphari favored, as he has gotten a few more CS as the wave will reset, but only about 3, so not quite a laning advantage. WhiteKnight a little bit more comfortable now that he has a bit of MR under his belt.
And I think this blind pick Swain is something we're going to see a lot of in playoffs as well, where if you pick a tank against Swain, you just get pushed on the tower, and you can't really kill the Swain. And the traditional top lane picks don't really shut him down very hard. Maybe if you pick like a Camilla and play around the lane with a jungler, you can do it. But Swain just becomes a very safe and strong laner. I wonder if some teams want to try unique picks against it. Things like Cassiopeia top lane, maybe Lucian top, something like that. I don't actually even know if that wins the lane, but
Combo shards in playoffs, it could happen.
Yeah, it could. I want to see if some of those very untraditional hard carry top picks can actually do something like Swain.
And I think it would have to be, because Camille is pretty much permaban. And if you're looking for another safe blind pick top laner when Sion and Camille are off the board, Swain does appear to be making a name for himself in this game. However, as we look back in, you can see Misfits taking advantage of the bot side push, using the Kalista to secure these objectives. It's not a pick we've seen in a long time, but we have to remember, Rend so strong at securing early neutral objectives. Unicorns of Love don't even bother going for the contest. So while the gold is even, small advantage goes over to Misfits.
That's obviously really good for Misfits, but the fact that Unicorns got that kill before and kind of slowed down the game a bit. We haven't seen Sencux leave the lane more than that first time, so they've kind of been able to keep the mid laners together, which only benefits Exileh because he's the guy who can't really follow the roams, and he just wants to get strong individually.
Oh, okay. This looks good. Sencux now slowed down, going to use the Voice of Light to throw Exileh right out of that trade. But you can see Exileh, he knows he's the stronger champion in the 1v1 as long as he avoids the stun. Luckily, it's going to be a trade of ult there for Sencux, not going to lose anything else. Has the Honey Fruit as well, so really nice setup for the lane.
Let's see, once Mikyx gets level 6, Kalista ult plus Braum ult, good combo if they want to set up a play bot lane. A lot of CC being put out before Aurelion Sol arrives. The other one, as we mentioned before, was try to go up top and see if you can kill WhiteKnight in maybe a 3v1 situation. On the bottom side, they would potentially lose a turret, but there's no Drake, of course, for Unicorns to grab as well. So they could trade turrets, plus getting a kill on the Gnar. Could be one play for Misfits if they want to use Sencux more aggressively. Riftheld also alive for the top side. You see Unicorns understanding that their strong lane at the moment, it is a Rakan, and Kold is around.
Very good spot. Hansam has also opted for the Ninja Tabby, so while he may come out in terms of the 1v1 trades, can't really outdamage the Xayah in bigger fights. May struggle a little bit here. Now Deficio, Kold is doing such a good job of kind of being everywhere he needs to on the map. I feel like Maxlore is as well, but Kold's playing the tank. Maxlore's playing a bit more of a carry champion. I feel like we need to see more from this Kha'Zix pick.
I think if Maxlore... Oh, that's a bot lane first.
Bot, blocking the feathers, looking for the charm follow-up, a quick flash upon Sama. Mikyx gonna try to make it out to safety. Fate's Call brings it in, still gets tagged by the ult. Not gonna find follow-up there, but Unicorns of Love in complete control of the bottom side.
Got a few summoners, but couldn't keep chasing onto the turret also because Maxlore and Sencux were moving down to the bottom side. They're on their way now again. Ult is ready from Mikyx. Flash ult engage onto someone like Totoro. Could be a thing, but Kold is still on the bottom side. Unicorns able to defend. With the Kha'Zix though, I think if you just farm and you make sure you keep up in terms of gold income, it's okay. You don't have to snowball with early kills, but then you gotta play him so well in the mid to late game. And that's where I see a lot of Western junglers struggle, where like LCK junglers can do it effectively.
Oh, Maxlore looks for the follow-up. Exileh with a quick flash out though. Knows something's happening. And I think you're right, Deficio. I think it's important to bring it up because we've seen pretty good Kha'Zixes where they use the vision advantage, they run through that jungle, they kind of play as like this predator, right? Trying to shut down into these Baron plays. But we see it so infrequently from EU teams.
Yeah, it's very inconsistent in that way. It's rare we see like a Kha'Zix jungle really utilize his extra mobility by running through the brushes to kind of move around the map. Because when I do watch like the best Kha'Zix players in the world, they're able to consistently punish the side lane split pushers in the mid to late game, just because it's so hard to ward against him and it's so hard to match the speed which he can move through these brushes. And then when he shows up in the lane, he gets isolation damage, he just kills you in like 2 seconds. So you don't have a lot of counterplay. He's not a very slow, like he's not like a Sejuani who shows up and you need 10 seconds to finish the gank and someone can respond. Like he just shows up, kills someone instantly. And with this Misfits comp, because they can play all 3 lanes and have so much mobility with Kha'Zix plus Aurelion Sol, I really want to see Maxlore just punish the side lanes once we get out of laning phase. Kill WhiteKnight 3 to 4 times if he tries to sit there and farm.
And for now, that's not an option as we're still...
No, we have to be out of laning
exactly.
phase, yeah.
So for now, Maxlore's farming, kind of as you said, and that's okay for him at this stage of the game, but he may look for a more aggressive play here as he has caught out Kold. Sencux is going to look to make it his way in. The rest of the team now following up. Hansam actually caught out because Mikyx did not see this one coming. The instant all-in. He gets burned down. Amazing turn from Unicorns. Love to punish this, but they may get punished themselves. Mikyx not hesitating to keep the fight going. The rest of Unicorns are here, but now this one's going to turn against him. Maxlore leaps in, but Exileh's right there on the backside. Alphari with the demonic ascension. Can he get Samux here in the end? He wants to pop it. He's taking his time, though. He's healing up. He's sustaining. He's an absolute terror, but Unicorns of Love are winning the fight. That's the double kill. 2 taken down for Sencux. It's a slow burn. He doesn't get a pop it. Not the ulti he needed. Sencux now has to run for the hill. Unicorns of Love with the fight.
And it all started with their Xayah Rakan lane finding Hansama, destroying him instantly. Getting a 4v5 in their favor. They win the fight. Exileh, he was left alone. No one touched him. He was just going to town on Misfits. Well, want to see the replay here and what happens in the bottom lane specifically, because this is okay. Maxlore jumps Kold. Bot lane, Mikyx is already left Hansama. And there's no flash on his Kalista, so it's very easy for Unicorns to jump him, kill him instantly. right back live.
Now Exileh running. Uses the cleanse to try to make it out of that one. Will make it free in the end, but Deficio, we praised earlier Misfits for punishing the lack of summoner spells, but Unicorns of Love are doing it right back. It was that earlier engage where Hansama had to snap flash out to try to survive. And Unicorns of Love don't hesitate when they see Mikyx isn't there. They say, oh, we'll take the free kill.
Of course, of course. Lane swap now from Misfits top side, Drakos. Meanwhile, bot lane, Unicorns of Love are trying to match for the turret. Alphari's wave play is okay down there, and he's fairly hard to tower dive unless you bring multiple members. Let's see what happens around the blue buff. Maxlore will get that one for himself. And as you mentioned before here with this fight, if Mikyx and Hansama stay together, join the team, they've already won the trade against the enemy jungler, they're set up to do well in that fight. But the moment the AD carry is left alone against hard engaged support, bang, you get punished.
And with the tower going down, we now see Misfits splitting up the map. Luckily for them, they're even in gold. It is going to be the Unicorns of Love advantage as they grab their first tower. We're about 15 minutes into Deficio. We talk about how Misfits' early game is where it's at. This team is so consistent in the early game, but it does feel like Unicorns of Love have been one step ahead just about the entire time thus far.
They've definitely been able to avoid falling behind against an Aurelion Sol, which is what a lot of teams can struggle with, because you can get ganked so often. Suddenly both your side lanes are losing. In this case here, despite no kills on Samux, he got 5 assists on his side. He's almost completing the Essence Reaver, so he's not that far
Alphari,
behind.
Demonic Ascension, it's just not going to work. There's too much CC gone. Kold, happy to grab that one. Man, Unicorns of Love are just picking people off left and right.
I just like Rakan on stage, because you can keep forcing plays so effectively. How do you avoid that engage from Unicorns of Love? Alphari had no flash. He was even sitting far back in his lane, but everyone else had already kind of gone back to base, or were just still pushing out the lane to Misfits. Couldn't really get anything in return. They're around mid now, trying to get Exileh. That missed.
Ooh, Voice of Light not going to connect. Exileh taking his time. Trying to buy a bit more. Kold on the way in. Does manage to hit the ult on 3 members, but Exileh still set to fall. Misfits firing back, and these guys not team fighting, just skirmishing everywhere.
Good answer here. Rift Held is sitting on Maxlore in case he wants to use it to try and secure a turret. Saving it for now, but good answer from Misfits. They knew everything was invested bottom side. They had a chance to make a play mid against the no-flash mid laner. Exileh will have it in a few seconds.
As the Blade of the Rune King gets a little bit more movement speed, is going to pull Mikyx in, trying to get it. Feathers fly, will take Samux out to safety. Finds the disengage. Ooh, Deficio, we're waiting on to see where that Rift Herald is going to be used. Right now, Misfits need to find another tower with that if they want to get an edge here. For now, Maxlore happy to just have the empowered recall. It has to be
they're
safe.
chasing them.
See, Samux has burned the ult. Totoro waiting on his ultimate, but has the flash as well. Stopping the backs here. Very aggressive play. Totoro, though, has to be careful. Kold is here as an escape path if he wants to, but Maxlore is off to the side. Has now used the grand entrance. Immediately, Maxlore is there. Sencux is on the way as well. Unicorns of Love overstepping. It's the slow burn down. WhiteKnight has the ult. He can't look for the disengage, so Misfits are going to back off, but back and forth. Single kills across the map. Maxlore on the hunt a little bit. The stealth and the movement speed, not quite enough to get him into range.
Always expect the Aurelion Sol to show up if you have longer fights, because he will just get there eventually. The Cook showed up behind him, secured a kill for his team. That's Rift Held coming down in the mid lane. Only WhiteKnight here to defend. Certainly Misfits getting an additional turret. Even out the gold. Still, very even game here. Respect to both teams for trying their hardest to win this, despite technically not playing for anyone.
Yeah, I have to remember pride on the line to a certain degree. Two teams that have always historically made playoffs, right? Misfits was the one-year plan. Even when they didn't manage to win out in the end, they were doing well. Unicorns of Love is the first split where they haven't made playoffs since they've joined the LCS, so
yeah,
want to prove something by taking the competition down.
And just a little quick tip to all the teams not making playoffs this split. Just say one-year plan. But then no one can blame you, because the summer split is where you're going to peak. That's the important one if you want to get to Worlds.
And to be
for
fair,
these teams.
We have a 1 out of 1 success record for teams that have said one-year plan.
It's actually never failed when a team came in with that mindset.
We call that abusing stats, by the way.
That doesn't matter. The facts are on our side.
Oh, God. Well, Unicorns of Love clearly determined to kill Sencux. Sencux trying to try to get the Voice of Light, does not connect, but immediately good body block comes in from Mikyx. Manages to get the ult out, but it's a slow burn down. CC means Sencux can't get the damage out. WhiteKnight is there. He wants to chase it down. Looking for the Hyperprox. He's going to go Mega in just a moment. Manages to connect the boulder. He's going to pick it up. The heal comes out. He needs a sidestep. Where's the fancy footwork? Not going to connect. Mikyx going down as well.
Back and forth game at the moment. Gotta see the whole engage there. I don't think Hansama was nearby to join the fight, and they instantly just jumped the Misfits mid laner and secure that kill for Unicorns of Love. will potentially
Now Deficio at
get
the start
a
of the
few
game.
jungle camps.
Will be good to get the jungle camps.
I was going to say get a mid turret, but they didn't actually push for it, so I had to change it to jungle
Pivot.
camps.
That's what the dramatic pause is for.
Exactly.
I don't know what's
like-
going to happen. I'll pause and make it sound like I'm creating a dramatic moment, and they're not going to go.
They
for
just killed the
turret.
raptor camp, so they got a jungle camp.
Deficio, you said, hey, you either gank the Aurelion Sol and kill him, or he ganks your lanes. Now, it's a little bit late from Unicorns of Love, but clearly they've figured this out and are trying to punish this pick.
Yeah, so basically, Hansama was spotted on a ward top side. The classic Xayah Rakan to just force the engage. Sencux can't get out in time, and now the fight is on, and Kalista is still running. You see her appear there, top of the screen. But the fight is already won for Unicorns of Love. So good use of hard engage, and exactly why we like to see hard engage in these different compositions.
I mean, especially in the hands of Unicorns of Love, one thing you can say is through every single iteration of this team, they have been quite good at team fighting and forcing these fights on their terms.
Poor Samux, still not getting any kills.
0, 2, and 8. Support Kalista. Not exactly what he wants. Kold with 4 of the kills. Doesn't mean he gets the Warmogs early. And now, Deficio, we see the 1K gold lead coming in for Unicorns of Love. They've gotten the Dragon of their own. Yes, it is the Ocean, but it's still something. Misfits, though, not playing scared whatsoever.
And we have to remember, Drakos, the Cinderhulk Warmogs was nerfed on patch 8.5. It does not give you the fancy proc on the Warmogs because you're not getting enough HP yet. You need 3k, and it only puts you at 2,800 for Kold at the moment. Soon he's there, soon.
You can build the Ruby Crystal,
Coming soon.
wait a level, or you can just wait 5 or 6 level.
Small nerf, but impactful in some ways. At least on the one item in this situation. Or 2, I guess it is, for jungler with Cinderhulk. Now, one thing about Aurelion Sol I really like about the item changes, I actually got to talk to the cooks about this like 2 weeks ago, was that Liandry's Rylai's Rod of Ages is like such a cool combo on him. Rylai's got a small buff again, a bit more AP in that one. Liandry's, of course, if you stay in fights longer, 10% magic damage increase, and Aurelion Sol likes long fights. So all 3 items like synergize really well together to keep people in a fight. It gives him a lot of tankiness, it gives him a bit more utility, and it's just overall a really nice like 3-item spike that also makes him pretty good in late game fights. Now he needs to of course get to the late game fights without being too far behind. In this case they are slightly behind, so it's still fine. He can still be a big carry.
I want to see it. I want to see how much damage it's going to do, because one thing I like about the duo of carries, as we see Unicorns of Love take this tower down, is that you have 2 people with a lot of zone control. Well, one man who's not afraid to zone someone out is Totoro. Does force out the ultimate, now looking to fire back. Chain CC goes on to Exileh. Oh, not going to connect! Well played from Misfits. Exileh, too eager on pulling the trigger. Immediate takedown.
I love watching people just turn instantly when they see the Cassiopeia ult. Hansama did not get stunned. They secured a kill. And now they might be looking towards an early Baron. They got Kalista in there, but they still risk it this early on.
Absolutely. WhiteKnight still hurt. Has the Black Cleaver. Poking down a little bit.
We have to remember, they don't have anyone stacking armor. They have no tank who can just sit in front of the Baron and tank it for like 1 minute. They're starting it now.
They are starting it. All right, we're going to check on the health.
Look how much damage they're already taking.
They're on the way in. They have the Xayah ult, but they do not have the Rakan ult. Engage options are limited. Gnar is about to go mega. They're going to try to pick off the jungler before the fight even starts. They want to get one. WhiteKnight in the middle of the team. Only going to connect one with the ultimate. Manages to land the wall, but Alphari is zoning out everybody, and Hansama going to grab the double.
Is this a successful Misfits mid-game we are watching? They're winning the fights. They might try and secure the Baron. Oh, we got Xayah Rakan on the way.
Ult is on the way. Maxlore is so incredibly low, but
get in there,
if
man.
they don't CC the Kalista, it basically counts
Oh,
for
they
the
got
fight.
the jungler.
Totoro is going to kill him. Exileh's in the middle of the blitz. Immediate leap in. They are going to be able to get it. Hansama can't get over the wall because he's grounded. Taken down. They get the Baron, but they don't get anything else.
Woo! Not a single player in Misfits will get to keep that Baron buff. A ton of kills over to Unicorns of Love. Great use of the W from Exileh. And of course, Samux finally gets some kills for himself. They were literally standing in that Baron pit. They could not get out.
Well played by the Unicorns. Such a gamble from Misfits. We have to give them credit for taking such an early Baron, but that's the risk.
That's the thing also, again, when you don't have anyone who can really tank the Baron, who's stacking armor, who's a big tank, you just take a lot of damage. They already won the fight. Initially, could have backed away and said, that's enough, we got a few more kills, reset, set up for a new Baron, but they wanted to secure it, and then the 3 surviving members, or remaining members of Unicorns, showed up. This is the first initial fight. I like the turn here from Misfits. They know it's 4v5, secure the first kill. Mikyx using a zoning ult, and WhiteKnight jumps in, but everyone backs away, so you can't get a good ulti, and great. I think here, Step away. You got 4 members, you got a few kills. They're gonna keep taking a lot of damage. Look at Maxlore, man. He drops so low.
And the only reason this works is because they have a Kalista. Everything could have gone wrong for this team if they did not have Hansama on this pick.
Miasma coming down from Exile. 3 members can't get out. No flashes there. And that's suddenly an ace for Unicorns.
And look where the gold goes. We talked about Samux getting kills. Exactly what they want. 2.5 items now for the Xayah, looking good. We're at that point for Hansama, right? We talk about Kalista every time. That 2-item spike, it's so juicy. But it only gets worse from here.
Effectively, yeah, unless you have these really, really long fights. In this case, the Unicorns. Oh, look at Maxlore. He's sneaking in behind them.
Aggressive playmaking. Mikyx going to find the stun onto 3. Samux is on the backside. Sencux, rather. Now looking to get out. Samux running for his life. The rest of Unicorns are retreating. Maxlore's right there. He's going to put it to him immediately. Goodbye, baby. Splinter Cell on the backside. Moving for a bit more. Misfits controlling the fight as Unicorns will retreat. Oh, Maxlore not done yet, but has this one turned against him? Yes, it has. Exile there to grab the kill. Demonic Ascension used, but not going to connect.
That was a pretty fun fight. Sick turnaround from Exile towards the end to get a kill on the jungler and stun 2 Misfits players. But it all started with a good engage and Maxlore hiding behind Unicorns the entire time. Midland turret going down. Sencux looking for more. Gotta be careful.
So cheeky. Is going to be enough, though, for them to grab yet another tower. 4-2 in towers, despite getting the Baron, getting aced, still finding a slight gold edge here for the side of Misfits.
2 teams just constantly fighting each other. No pressure in this game. You want to see who can actually win every single team fight. So Maxlore keeps hiding behind the team. After they throw in Mickey, Samux finds himself away from his teammates and he gets assassinated by Maxlore. Looks like a big win here for Misfits. And then we get to turn around. Look at Exile. Knows he can try and kill Maxlore and lands a great stun on the rest of Misfits.
This man's fighting on 2 fronts, Deficio. Turns, kills Maxlore, stops anyone else from killing him. I like the play. I like seeing it when Exile is playing confident. Both these mid laners doing so much for their teams in this game.
Sama also getting a ton of kills in these different fights here on the Kalista. Not able to match the items of Samux just yet, mainly because Samux have gotten so many assists on his side that he actually sits with quite a lot of gold in this game here. And of course a QSS from the Kalista, and there's a lot of gold invested on Hansama's side.
Yeah, but about 1,000 lead, you can see him coming in.
So that's effectively just because he's sitting on 1,500 gold at the moment, and he had to buy QSS. So Hansama will be slightly ahead, just not in terms of effective damage just yet.
Does get the QSS for free, essentially, due to the lead that he has, so it makes him safer, more reliable in the fights to come. Now, Deficio, we've seen Misfits executing pretty well in the mid game. Still some hiccups. Oh, Maxlore looking for another play here. Immediately, Chain CC comes in. Exile running for his life. Sarah's Embrace. Not enough to stop the Embrace of Death. Kold now on the hunt for a little bit more, trying to take down Maxlore, but he's just getting run down himself.
Thought it was a carry for a moment there, Kold. Like, I will revenge you.
I have 4 kills. I will do damage. Well,
you know,
quite.
Fun fact. In the English language, one of the things I hate the most is avenge and revenge.
Ah, yes.
You always want to yell revenge, but then it's actually avenge.
He avenged.
He avenged him. He wanted to avenge him.
Yeah.
Yes.
He got revenge.
He got revenge, but this guy wanted to avenge him. Just made that mistake. Unacceptable.
Look, man, it's all right. It's all good.
All right. Maxlore wants revenge. As he goes in, kills Exile, and then Kold wants to avenge Exile, but failed to do so.
Wow, hooked on phonics with Deficio. This is exciting.
I tried my best. I got 1 person clapping.
You know that's enough. You know that's all you wanted.
Yes. I just need the approval of 1 person.
That's all it takes, man. It was a good joke. 1 person laughed. You made someone's day a little brighter.
That wasn't even a joke. I was making fun of my own poor English.
All right, whatever. We can argue the English definition of joke in the future. For now, gold just about dead even, folks. But I think we have to look at compositions. We have to look at scaling. So far, Misfits have been executing well enough to go toe-to-toe with Unicorns of Love. But as we go later, is this still realistic that they can hope to go up against the Xayah, the Cassio, and do just as much damage as they're doing?
I feel like there's enough damage on the side of Misfits that they should always be able to win fights. Especially also because Maxlore have actually been able to find the backline a few times on this Kha'Zix, and you should always count that as basically a kill if he does actually get towards Samux or Exile when they're alone.
So here's my question. We're going to hold that question. Unicorns will push in.
Oh, they're hiding.
Way around the corner. Just going to try to stun him again. Rinse and repeat. Oh, that's so much damage. Kold looking for a bit of revenge here. Now going to back out. Maxlore just going to flash to safety. Totoro's ready, though. He's ready to force that engage. Will force the stars back in if he wants to try and grab it. But the rest of Misfits are on the way. Flash out from Kold as well. Well played from the Misfits lineup.
And earlier, we said, you know what? We don't need early kills from Maxlore, but we want to see him out of the laning phase, play around the side lane, and just constantly assassinate whoever's sitting there from Unicorns or Love. We said it was going to be WhiteKnight. In this case, it is Exileh. And Maxlore, he's doing it on this Kha'Zix here. He's constantly waiting for Unicorns to play on multiple lanes, so he knows he can find an isolated target. It's around Sencux, and it's been working now. 2 kills for them.
The question is this the kind of Kha'Zix performance you wanted to see in the mid game in terms of playing like the best Kha'Zixes in the world?
I just like this kind of style from the Kha'Zix. Too many players are just grouping with the team in mid, W the wave, and then say, let's wait for the next team fight. And then the value compared to Sejuani is kind of limited. Maxlore, in this one, he's finding a lot of ways to kill single targets. And that's exactly what we want. He's hiding top lane again. Now Unicorns, they've learned. If you go top lane, Kha'Zix will try and kill you.
Don't go anywhere in that jungle. That is Maxlore's territory. You can see him in his turf now.
I don't think they saw him. They don't know he's behind right now. Oh no, there is a ward, the Rift Scuttler, unless he snuck around it.
Important to remember, guys, G2 versus Vitality up next. The battle for second is alive and well while these teams fight for pride. Placements are on the line in game 4.
Maxlore is still behind Unicorns of Love. They are all grouping now. Stay 5 together, Unicorns. That's how you win fights. Misfits spread the enemy out.
And you can find them. Unicorns of Love kind of walking around, don't seem entirely confident, not entirely sure where Maxlore is. Maxlore playing his own little mini game of stealthing up, but Misfits want to start a fight. Alphari is here, Demonic Ascension comes out. Cold's going to try to keep him out of the fight, but Exileh ready to do the damage. Maxlore immediately onto the backside wants to rip through Samux. Samux now has to run. Feathers fly, looks for the retreat, but that's the Demonic Ascension. 5 soul fragments.
So much
burn
damage!
him down! Misfits!
Oh, Exileh still pretty healthy.
Close execution in the fight. Exileh looking for his hero moment, not going to find it. Retreats into Misfits territory to stay alive. And Misfits, so many blinking red health bars. Oh, Maxlore! Where was this Kha'Zix all split long? This man is on fire.
Now they're going for Baron. It's only Exileh alive, and he says, you know what? Infernal Drake for me, Baron for you. Misfits find another really awesome fight. Wait, Cooks is on the way. He wants to take the 1v1 battle against the mid laner.
Is he going to be able to grab it? Baron in the meantime, he's not going to take the battle. Sheepy's now coming down. No, never mind.
I don't know.
They need to cancel.
Fine. I was hoping we get a 1v1 between the mid laners.
Instead, Misfits get everything. Double Infernal, Baron, 3K gold lead with an early game comp to Deficio.
I mean, as we highlighted multiple times, the scaling is still pretty good, especially on like the 2 AP champions, Aurelion Sol and Swain. You can play in a lot of these like really long, drawn-out fights. And a Kha'Zix in the late game, as long as he finds the backline, will deal a ton of damage. And that's what Maxlore's been doing consistently. Sneaks in behind together with Sencux, finds a lot of damage on Samux, forced to deal the flash. Alphari is just sitting right in front of him, he doesn't even care, gets him with the second ult there, or with the big explosion from the ult, and too much damage coming from Misfits.
Oh, that's a big ball.
Oh,
Maxlore now running for his life. Samux not quite as scared as he once was. Maybe this is Unicorns of Love time to turn the fight. WhiteKnight is building up the rage, eyes on the Gnar, see what he can do. Unicorns of Love now back off. Getting a little bit frisky here as Brandon's pop to keep the slow. Exileh now pushing in for a bit more. They see Alphari, they force out the Demonic Ascension, and they're trying to back off. Sencux threatens. Not finding the opportunity. Flash forward immediately into Alphari. They need to change the CC to stop the Demonic Ascension from coming out, but he's Zanya's to keep it safe. Exileh still alive off to the side. Sencux supposed to find it with the Voice of Light. They managed to take down Samux. This is big. Maxlore on the backside. He's healed back up. He's going to get one. Looking for the second. Looking for the reset. Can he get a little bit more? On the hunt as Misfits absolutely tear apart the Unicorns of Love.
It's another crazy fight. The Cooks want more.
The ball going. They're backing out. Going to flash forward to keep the stun. Does manage to connect on WhiteKnight. They don't even need the kill. There's the reset from Maxlore. Wants a bit more. Not going to get it. Misfits breaking into the base. This might just be the game.
We've had so many really awesome fights here. Maxlore was actually dropped low. He had to go back to base. Recall ran all the way back to the actual fight. And then was part of winning it. WhiteKnight wants to buy some time.
Broken stopwatch. A little bit of a eulogy here for the Unicorns of Love and Misfits as well, but what a way to end the season. Beautiful performance coming in for Misfits.
The dramatic music feels slightly out of place, seeing as you didn't win anything other than pride. Misfits cannot make playoffs due to their head-to-head records with all these teams in the middle of the pack here in the UOL CS. They get the win. They played well in these fights. Loved the Kha'Zix. Did exactly what we wanted to see from the Kha'Zix as well. The cooks on the Aurelion Sol showing up. And Ansama picking up a ton of kills on Kalista. So a lot of good individual performances for Misfits. Sadly, slightly too late for them in the split.
Truly a shame to see, Deficio. But while it is bittersweet, was still an entertaining show. Gotta praise the team. They tried something. They taught a lot of picks that we're not used to seeing them use. Brought up on stage. The Kalista back in form, the Aurelion Sol. So they gave us a good performance.
This also means the Unicorns of Love will end as the number 10 team here in the Spring Split. Started as a 1-8 team and then had to climb their way back towards the playoff race. And they were in the running until H2K beat Rocket. So we gotta praise that turnaround in the split. We saw a lot of improvement. We had a lot of people call them one of the best 1-8 teams ever.
A lot of people, you. I quoted you.
Being one of them.
But I think it's interesting because in the past, if you told me you were a 10th place UOL CS team, I'd be like, ooh,
that's going to be some pretty bad League of Legends.
That's rough. But because the
case.
standings are so close, I think if you have to go 10th ever, and yes, it's not ideal, and yes, it's still not something Unicorns of Love are probably feeling too great about, take solace in the fact that the league is so close. Everyone is taking games off everyone.
Yep.
And it's not the worst place to be.
Also, no promotion tournament here in the
True.
Spring Split. Normally this would mean right down to play relegation, lowest seed in it, as well as the LCS teams. Worst kind of tournament to play ever. In this case, it sucks. 100%. You really want to make playoffs. We can see the teams constantly talk about it. You know, we see them be super sad whenever they realize they can't actually do it or they lose these crucial games. But you can now focus on getting ready for Summer Split if you are the Unicorns of Love and if you are Misfits.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, the one-year plan, you kind of made a meme out of it in the game, but it is true. A lot of teams are focused more on summer. You got to get the team coordination together with so many new lineups. Unicorns and Misfits both making a decent number of changes too. For Misfits, Unicorns Love basically rebuilding, you know, the vast
Lost the
majority of
core,
that
man.
lineup.
Hylissang
Yeah.
and Visachachi leaving for the first time, and that is also going to be the first time Unicorns Love do not make playoffs.
It's tough.
That's kind of sad.
It is, and it's the thing is there's so many times in so many seasons where we know, like week 6, like okay, they're out, and you have time to process it. But for these teams and for their fans and for everyone, we found out today, right? We found out an hour ago that these teams are making playoffs before they stepped on stage. Still came up, gave a great show. Got to give them props for that.
That was a fun game. Super cool fights.
It's definitely rough, man. That's the thing about these schedule. The thing about it being this close is it feels. It's pretty disheartening, I'd say.
And I think almost the worst part for the Unicorns was the game yesterday. They had it. They were beating G2. Would have been huge for the playoff implications, but they ended up losing in the end, and then that was it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to leave it to Sjokz and Vedius, who are standing by for the call.
Thank you very much, Drakos. Well, I have to feel for both of those teams on stage after being knocked out, still having to play that game, and they fought valiantly. But after many weeks and many games, we talked a lot about the teams and their chances for playoffs, but that also means that we lose teams along the way, both Unicorns of Love and Misfits in this case. And we want to take a look at both their splits, and we're going to start by taking a look at the Unicorns of Love. As said, this is the first time in the history of the organization that they do not make playoffs, and no matter how you put it, that sucks.
It does. You took the words right out of my mouth. It's really unfortunate to see such an established organization that over many years has brought a lot of fun, a lot of crazy team fighting, and just so much energy to the European LCS stage. And unfortunately, this will be the first time since the arrival that we won't get to see them in playoffs.
Indeed, and when they came into the split, nobody had the highest expectations for the Unicorns of Love. We have to be honest about that. 3 new players coming in, a new project for Sheepy, but there were some positives along the way. They went on a 5-game winning streak. They kind of seemed to find their synergy. Kold emerged as a real leader for the squad, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough.
Exactly that. We have to be real at the end of the day that the 1-8 start did not help the Unicorns of Love, and even though they had this fantastic 5-game winning streak, when it came down to it, they could not win the crucial games. And we heard it from Deficio. The game yesterday could have been it. It could have changed everything for the Unicorns of Love, but unfortunately, when it mattered most, Unicorns couldn't make it count, and with such a competitive split, that's everything that matters.
Yeah, they should have taken it into their own hands weeks ago. They didn't, but this isn't the end of the line. We'll have to see what the Unicorns of Love themselves want to do or want to focus on in the offseason. We'll certainly be very excited to welcome them again in summer.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see this Unicorns of Love roster in summer. I know what kind of a guy Sheepy is. I know he's going to work hard with the team, and I'm expecting a action-packed filled, love-filled roster coming into summer.
We will see, and we are also joined by Medic for a closer look at Misfits gaming performance this split.
Thank you very much, Sjokz. And how the mighty have fallen. From challenging defending world championships only 6 months past to falling far short of domestic expectation, this has been a split the Misfits would like to forget. Like so many others in the European LCS, Misfits emerged from the off-season with new players and new hopes. However, the revitalized roster has been a shadow of their former selves. The loss of power of Evil to Optic Gaming has been keenly felt as Sencux has struggled to step into his shoes. Misfits mainstays Hans Summer and Maxlore have not shown the spark of ingenuity that won over the hearts of so many fans the world over. We have moved from a team that was unleashing the potential of their carries to a team that is floundering without any real identity. It's not been the split for Misfits, but I for one hope that the next episode in the Misfits story does not become their eulogy. Coming up next is the battle for the bye between G2 and Vitality. We'll also have a chat with the owner of G2, Ocelot, ahead of their game, so be sure to stick around.
Exile's right there on the backside. Alphari with the demonic ascension. Can he get Samux here in the end? He wants to pop, but he's taking his time though. He's healing up. He's sustaining.
Exile.
He's an absolute terror, but Unicorns of Love are winning the fight. That's the double kill. 2 taken down for Sencux. It's a slow burn.
He's not that far
Alphari,
behind.
demonic ascension. It's just not going to work. There's too much CC gone. Is Totoro. Does force out the ultimate. Now looking to fire back. Chain CC goes on to Exile. Oh, not going to connect. Totoro is going to kill him. Exile's in the middle of the play. Immediate leap in. They are going to be able to get it. Kha'Zix can't get over the wall because he's grounded. Taken down. They get the Baron, but they don't get anything else. Looking to get out. Samux running for his life. The rest of the Unicorns of Love retreating. Maxlore's right there. He's going to pour it to him immediately. Goodbye, baby. Splinter Cell on the backside. And Misfits, so many blinking red health bars. Oh, Maxlore. Where was this Kha'Zix? A little bit of a eulogy here for the Unicorns of Love and Misfits as well, but what a way to end the season. Beautiful performance coming in for Misfits.